Welcome to Daily Dose Radio, a 5-minute devotional podcast studying the Psalms verse by verse. Broadcast from the ever-beautiful Sharonville, Ohio, on the sunny side of Cincinnati. Hey, welcome back to Daily Dose Radio. This is your locally sourced, responsibly handled Bible study, 5 minutes a day, 5 days a week, every week, and that's all we ask. We just want you to be here with us. It's fresh and it's made just for you. And today we're looking at Psalm 139 because Daily Dose Radio is traveling through the Psalter verse by verse. We're looking today at verses 5 and 6 in Psalm 139, and so if you have your Bible, you turn there with me. We're looking at 5 and 6, which begins a different section, a little bit different section than what we had in verses 1 through 4. Behind and before you have hemmed me in, so you have set your hand upon me. This knowledge is too wonderful for me. It is unattainable. I am not able to grasp it. That's my translation of those two verses. You'll notice that while in verses 1 through 4 we had the theme of knowledge, but it wasn't our knowledge, it was God's knowledge. So we had in verse 1, you know, that is, God searches and knows. You know my sitting and my rising. You understand my thoughts from a distance. All my ways you intimately know. But before there's a word on my tongue, O Lord, you know it completely. So God's knowledge is complete. Reminded me, and I should have probably said this yesterday, of Hebrews chapter 4, verse 13. Now let me just read that for you. I think that's appropriate to read here. Neither is there any creature that is not manifest in his sight, but all things are naked and open unto the eyes of him with whom we have to do. Well, there it is. So we are naked and open, and that's a great way to describe these first 4 verses. There's absolutely nothing that he doesn't see in your life. He knows it all. And we come to 5 and 6 today, and there's a knowledge break here, because now it's a knowledge that I have. Notice, he says, behind and before you have hemmed me in, so you have set your hand upon me. This knowledge is too wonderful for me. So God's works are always in the Psalter described as wonderful. This is a very popular word that the psalmist uses. God's works are wonderful. They express the wonder, the glory of God, his great hand at work in all things. And now he comes to the creation of the human body, and he says, behind and before you've hemmed me in. Now that word hem, let's go to the hall of the seamstress, and let's watch her hem up a pair of pants. And she takes that needle and that thread, and with the skill of her hand and her eye and the knowledge that she has about fabric, she's able to hem and stitch a straight line. And so binding together those two pieces of cloth. So the human body, with its 2 hemispheres, right and left, God stitches up on the front side and on the back side so that it's almost like there's a seam. The spinal cord looks like a seam. The from the belly button up looks like a seam. There's the hemispheres that are there, but God has joined them together. He has stitched them together. And the psalmist says, this is too wonderful for me, this knowledge. And then he says, it's unattainable. I am not able to grasp it. Now, I have inserted the word grasp here just to help our understanding. It's not in the text. And the way the really truly wooden translation of this would be, I am not able to it. I can't get it. That may be actually a better translation. I can't get it. Because the word to be able to do is here, but it's in the negative. I am not able to grasp it, or I just can't get it. So the knowledge, he sees it. He sees God's hand. He sees his handiwork in the human body. And he's going to come back to that in the second half of this psalm. But right now he teases us with it. And remember that, he's the one that made us. And by the way, ladies and gentlemen, he's the one that sustains us. Notice there in verse 5, the second half, the second part of the couplet, so you have set your hand upon me. He maintains us. Not only does he hem us up, puts us together, but he lays his hand there and keeps us together. I hope you'll join me again tomorrow, and we'll look at some more knowledge that's pretty much too wonderful for us, and we'll see that on Daily Dose Radio. Thanks for listening to Daily Dose Radio. I'm David Smith. The music today has been performed by the Bluegrass Experiment. Thanks again for listening. I'll see you next time on Daily Dose Radio.